This is Weekly Woman by Jubilance for PMS.
Okay, hi Shay. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Okay, so where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm currently visiting one of my best friends from high school. So,
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I went to Atlanta and this is really bad, but like the only thing I did because I was there for a day and then I went to Savannah, which was amazing. But
Savannah's incredible.
it's so beautiful. Oh my God, the Spanish moss, I was like dying.
I touched it. You're like not supposed to touch it.
Oh, are you not? I definitely touched it too.
Yeah, there are bugs in it that will give you diseases. So do not touch Spanish moss.
Oh my God. I
Yeah.
touched it a lot.
Oh
That's
no.
why I got COVID. No. Okay. But, but okay, so in Atlanta, I went to the Coca-Cola Museum.
Oh my God.
It was really cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, what did they have there?
Okay, so I feel like the museum exhibits were horrible, but the best part was that you got to try like Coca-Cola and like all of their other brands from all over the world,
Oh my
like in like a
God.
tasting room. And so you just like, I feel like I just like died of a sugar coma afterwards and had like 20,000 calories worth of soda. But you like, you go up and you get to like try like, I tried like some soda from Peru and like some soda
Oh
from
my
like
God.
Argentina and like Finland. I don't know. So
That is incredible.
that was really cool. And it was like interesting based on like the taste buds of that culture and like how sweet it was versus and like the flavoring. Like the
Mhm.
Peruvian one is like bubblegum flavored, which was I thought horrific. But I tried it. It's called Inca Cola.
Oh wow, that's not fun.
Yeah, but very cool to try. So you
Yeah,
should do
yeah,
that in Atlanta.
yeah. That sounds fantastic. Wow.
Yeah. What's on the agenda?
TJ Maxx actually.
Oh, I
um,
love TJ Maxx.
yeah, TJ Maxx is on the agenda for today, and Trader Joe's, of course, because there's a
Oh,
Trader Joe's walking distance. We went to Ponce Market, which is this really cool marketplace. That's kind of like half outdoors, half inside. There's like a huge food hall with like a ton of different foods, um, and just a ton of different like upscale shops. It was beautiful, honestly.
oh, that sounds so fun.
Yeah, yeah,
And now you're not generally in Atlanta. You grew up in Massachusetts. Can
yeah,
you tell us a little bit what it's like to grow up there?
yeah. It's really cold,
Oh,
honestly, but it's gorgeous. Like I could go on and on about how much I love Massachusetts. Massachusetts is filled with historic landmarks. My hometown just has so many like old houses, like on our main street, actually. Um, Rest in peace to Queen Elizabeth, but she did actually visit my hometown and said that Main Street is one of the prettiest main streets she's ever seen. Yeah.
what?
Yep. Yep. I don't know if
Wow.
that's true, but she was like, yeah, this is one of my top main streets. And we're like, okay, okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And it's really cool because like, well, we are very traditional in a sense with the main street housing. Because you have to like have white lighting for like white string lights only like during holidays. You
Huh.
can't use colored string lights. You have to like kind of adhere to some sort of housing restrictions. You have to keep like your house white with like black shutters. It has to like kind of stay the same on the inside because they do like house tours um, in Hingham. So you can do like historic house tours and learn
Wow.
about the houses and who lived in them. It's really cool. And I haven't done it, but I really want to do it. Um, yeah, because like you just don't think of like the touristy stuff when you live in the hometown. But
Yeah.
um yeah, it's really cool. And the plaques have like the origin of the house, like when it was built and who lived in it. It's very cool. So if you ever like take a walk in Hingham, Massachusetts, um, like you can see like where all of the house, like when all of the houses are built, who lived in them, and like the theme of it. It's beautiful, honestly. It's
That's so
very, very
amazing.
cool.
Wait,
Yeah.
so did someone who lived in your house?
Well, my house was built like 20 years ago, but
Oh my
um
God.
I don't live
So
on I don't live on Main Street, so
so new for Massachusetts.
I know.
I'm constantly amazed when I go there because growing up in California, it was like, this is 100 years old. And you would be like, oh my God, it's ancient. Even like from the 50s, you're like, wow, this 1950s house, this
That's
bungalow,
crazy.
the arts and crafts movement from the 1920s that you kind of see. But yeah, I guess that's 100 years ago now. But just the history that's in Massachusetts inherently with Plymouth Rock, like the beginnings of America.
Yeah, which honestly isn't that impressive. Plymouth Rock is not impressive at all. It is
Really?
literally, it's this tiny boulder rock, and they
I
keep
thought it
it.
was so cool.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was like, oh my God, the pilgrims touched this. Wow, starting America. But I'm like a history nerd. So,
Well, that was my first impression in third grade, during our field trip. But now that I've lived there and I've seen it like 5 times, I go there and I'm like, it gets smaller and smaller. Like, why are they leaving it in this cage to like erode and decompose?
oh, I didn't think about that.
Because the water comes in and it like splashes the rock, and you're like, well, of course it's going to become a pebble in like 500 years.
Yeah. Oh,
Ugh.
but I guess that's the beauty of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true,
Oh, which is so
true.
interesting. Yeah. And so, Shay, you're currently in grad school. You're at Clark University, which is a lovely school in Worcester, Massachusetts. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're studying there?
Yeah, so I am completing my master's in communications at the end of this year, which is really fantastic and exciting. I have a bunch of different classes just learning about social media and marketing, and kind of like pushing the boundaries on that, and like what does that mean, and where are we going moving forward in terms of marketing and social media. And beforehand, I was there for undergraduate, which is where I met you. Um, in Little Women, we worked together on Little Women, the musical, which was fantastic. And I graduated with um, a Bachelor of Arts in Media, Culture, and the Arts, Theater Arts, and a minor in Music Performance. So that
Amazing.
was really
Wow, you
fun.
did so much. Two majors and a minor. That's wild.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just I just threw them all together. I was like, what can I mix together? What have I already taken that can kind of give me as much um, experience as possible, honestly.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And so, Shay, what are you doing at Jubilance?
So right now, well, I started at Jubilance as an intern, and I started as a content creator on TikTok, which I never thought that I would be on TikTok, to be honest. But oh my God, it has been so fun just being able to, well, you have allowed me to kind of just let my creativity fly, and kind of throw things at the wall, see what like people enjoy, people won't enjoy. And funny enough, went viral for American Girl Doll, an American Girl Doll video on the Care and Keeping of You, which was so fun. But also, like, I never thought that I would be like a kind of like micro influencer for American Girl Doll.
Yes.
And it reached a lot of boundaries. And we had that one person from American Girl Doll be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to take this to like my manager and talk about how we can shift the wording to menstruators in the care and keeping of you, which honestly, I didn't think we would reach like the American Girl Doll audio, like the managing part, but whatever helps, helps. And hopefully she'll bring it up to her managers and maybe menstruators will be put in the newer book. I don't know. Hopefully, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Cross my fingers.
So can you explain to our audience who doesn't know what is the care and keeping of you that and this video went viral with?
Yeah. So the care and keeping of you is Gen Z, not Gen X. Gen X. Are you Gen X? No.
I'm a millennial.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
How
know.
dare you?
I don't know what Gen X is, but Gen Z and millennials, we both love the care and keeping of you. It has been our puberty Bible. It basically just goes through. It's catered to young girls, young menstruators, and just talking about like your body is changing. Um, Maybe you have someone there for you to help you understand what that means. But here we are right now with a book that is going to help you understand what you're going to be going through in puberty. Um, and don't be scared. Like this happens to everyone. And just basically saying like, how do you put in a tampon? How do you use a pad? What are pads and tampons? What is acne? Like, should you shower every day? You should. Should you put on deodorant? Yes. Should you brush your teeth? Of course, every night, every morning. So it's really, really cool because it has impacted a ton of menstruators, millions and millions of menstruators. And so it was just being able to look at that book and talk about how it has impacted me and others, but how we can maybe make it better so that the next generation will understand it and love it as much as us was really cool. And the fact that it got to like 500,000 people is even cooler.
That's amazing,
So
Shay.
yeah. So hopefully that impacts some people. Hopefully change is coming, but it feels good to be able to help a little bit.
Yeah, and you're talking about all of these like what we call a taboo subject too. What made you want to start working for Jubilance or even like talking about periods or menstruation like all the time every day 24/7 with us?
Um Well, honestly, when you talked about it years ago, I was like, that. I mean, I didn't really know what Jubilance was, but I was like, I was very intrigued. And the other thing is, I don't see the point of the tabooness in all of it. I have always been a feminist, will always be a feminist. I know that feminism is also a taboo subject because it is something that you can't really define because there is an array of people that identify as feminists, but may not identify as my sort of feminism, like intersectional feminism. Um, and it is so important to me to make it less taboo because I feel like, I mean, ever since I first got my period, I was like, I will announce this. I'm going to tell everyone that I have my period. I'm going to not be afraid to give someone a tampon or take a pad out because it is completely natural. And honestly, I have only viewed periods like that because my family has viewed it in that way. And I have two incredible aunts who are also very feminist, very out there. And they helped me grow up. My mom helped me grow up in a sort of in a way that I wouldn't be afraid to um, talk about the tabooness of periods and like feel like I should not talk about it in front of other people. Like I don't care. Like this is a natural thing that happens to everyone. Like we all go to the bathroom, we all like have like all menstruators have periods. It sucks, but like we got to talk about it. Like who's going to talk about it if not us? Who's
Mm-hmm.
going to bring it up?
Yeah, that's so wonderful and great that you have like these voices in your life that were always there to say like, let's talk about it. Let's get down to it. Which is great. Cause I remember I was like so stressed. I mean, my parents like obviously like were like, let's talk about it. But I was like, oh my God. Ah! Or like a tampon would fall out of your bag and you'd be like, I am dead.
That wasn't me.
But now like in the past couple of years, I mean, working for this company and talking about it every day, I'm just like I want to have like a partner that I can talk about it with. And like my friends, I can just say like, oh, like this is happening right now. um Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, am I going through menopause? I'm so hot. Like, but I mean that's not the case yet, but just being able to talk about things, which is empowering, and just to like have the education there, which I think is like what we're and what you're in particular really trying to do with the TikTok and with like our media that we put out with Jubilance.
Yeah. Because the more we talk about it, the less taboo it is. And the more that we get other people to talk about it, even less taboo. So, like, it's just, you got to spread the word. We got to talk about it because women have been having periods for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And we will for a very long time.
And thank God we're doing it now with all this new technology. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh. Can you talk about taking Jubilance? So you've told me that your PMS has been terrible like all your life. Can you talk a little bit about like what your PMS was like before and then after trying Jubilance?
Yeah. So I had a very bad period in high school. Um, it was just, like heavy flow, and I could not manage it because as a high schooler, you're already managing high school. The academic was just, it was horrible. Anyways, I don't want to review high school anymore. But so I was having trouble like taking tests. I would have like very bad cramps. I just had the worst period you could ever imagine. And also my emotions. I mean, I'm already a hormonal teenager, but like at that point, I was extremely angry. I was lashing out. And that's for like 13-year-olds. Like you do that in like 13. So I knew that like something was wrong. So I knew that it wasn't natural. And my doctor said, well, let's get you on birth control. It'll probably manage it, which it did. It was great. But a lot of times after that, I felt like my anxiety was heightened during my period. I felt like I couldn't manage that. I generally have anxiety, and um, it is mostly easy to manage, but with my period, it was just not manageable. Um, and so, and I was sleeping a lot. I felt like I was forgetting a lot of things whenever I was on my period, with like the whole brain fog and everything. And I talked about it with my friends and stuff. Like my old friend Bridget, she's not old, but my friend um, from college, because I'm in my master's program, still college, but not same. She would talk about how she was forgetting things whenever she was on her period. And I was like, that's so weird. Like, that has never happened to me. And then a few years later, I'm starting to forget things. And it's so frustrating too, because as someone who is not forgetful, like I am always making sure that I'm on time to things. I'm responsible about work, homework, all of that. Managing stuff has never been an issue. So when I was on my period and I started like forgetting to lock the door or forgetting to do like homework or something, it was very aggravating. Um it was destructive to my mental health, because I was like, well, who am I if I'm not responsible in managing my time? And so when I started Jubilance, like I had taken like so many, not so many, but I had been taking like St. John's wort, because my mom had been recommended it, um, and it didn't help, honestly. Like I was taking it as kind of, I was like, oh, maybe this will help. Maybe eventually it'll help. Um, so I just stopped taking it. And starting Jubilance has been like really extremely impactful. I am no longer sleeping a lot. My forgetfulness is like very minor, if anything. Like it's just regular forgetfulness. And my anxiety is way easier to manage. Like just overall levels of emotion are like my levels of emotion are steady, and it's easy to live life. Like I don't even know when my period's coming anymore. I mean, I'm on birth control, but like, you know, like I don't even feel the effects of it anymore. The PMS is definitely gone. So it's incredible.
Wow, that's so amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I similarly, well, I shared with you that like my father told me to try this when I was in college because my PMS was through the roof. My anxiety and my like gloominess, really, like very
Yeah.
steep depression. But he was like, try this thing. Like like doctors of mine have been using it for their patients with PMS. And so I tried it and it was like really worked wonders and made me like allowed me to be myself the rest
Yeah.
of the month,
Yeah.
which I was really thankful for, and which is why like we kind of evolved the company around this, because it can be really impactful on menstruators' lives, which is
Yeah.
so great.
Yeah,
I'm so glad
exactly.
it helps you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Um, and Shay, something that we always ask on this podcast, and you've mentioned a little bit in like your definition of feminism, I would say, but what is your definition of womanhood?
Hmm. Yeah, like I don't have an answer to that. But I think the definition of womanhood for me um, is leading with love. Um, and to explain that, I just mean like, I feel like women generally, we grow up in a society that pins us against each other. Naturally, we are competitive towards each other because, well, you have to be the next best thing. You have to have the next best thing. And it's just consumerism, capitalism, you know. But I would say that my definition of womanhood is leading with love, because every time I meet another woman, you have to lead with compassion. You have to lead with an open mind, because we are so close-minded when we judge other people and when we see another woman.
Mhm.
Personally, me, and so I am definitely like working towards making sure that like I am not immediately judging and putting people off. I am making sure that I am inclusive and kind and loving towards other women and their experiences, honestly, because we need to hear more female experiences. So,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's
that's
wonderful.
womanhood.
That's something that we can all like work on, leading with love, which I think
Mm-hmm.
is a wonderful thing. And Shea, what do you see in your future? What's next?
I don't know.
Finishing
I
grad school.
definitely finishing grad school. Yes. Um, well, working at Jubilance. I love working at Jubilance, and I also just I want to keep impacting future generations. Um, so yeah, I want to leave like a footprint on the world, and I want to be able to make uh, make the world a little bit better and a little bit easier to consume for younger generations.
Mm, that's wonderful. I think you can do it. You're already doing it, which is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, thank you so much, Shea, for being on this podcast. It was lovely to get to talk to you.
Thank you. It was lovely talking to you too.